Hello Year 7, it's Mrs. Gallagher. So today we are going to start a task which is going to take us 2 lessons, potentially 3, depending on how fast you work. And the task is to create an artist research poster on the artist Kandinsky. So before we broke up, you did some work on Kandinsky in school, and you also completed a task last week where you designed your own Kandinsky inspired piece. The artist research poster is going to be A3 size. So just for clarity on that, it is 2 A4 pieces of paper. So A4 is the usual paper that you would find in a printer. So if you don't have A3 paper at home, do not worry. You can do this on 2 separate pieces of A4 and we can sellotape the back at the end or stick them together. An artist research poster is something that we do particularly when we get to GCSE and A levels. So it's really good practice for you to start looking at how we actually compile an artist research poster. And it's going to go on display in my classroom when we return. So we want it to be really visually pleasing. It should look like a piece of art. Everything about this piece of paper should be really informative about who Wassily Kandinsky is. So we need a nice bold title. We need some images of his work. So what are your favourite pieces that Kandinsky has done? A little bit of written research. So I want you to find out who is Kandinsky, what does his work include, what inspires him, how does he work, which is probably the most unique point about Kandinsky. And then we're going to leave one page, which I'm doing on the right side, and we're going to actually try and copy one of his pieces in detail to create our own artist study. So let's get started. Because this is over three lessons, you really need to make sure that you are going to do the 2 following things. The first thing is that you really follow the video tutorials closely and make sure that you only complete the tasks which you are instructed to do so for each lesson. And the second thing that I want you to make sure that you're doing is I want you to make sure that you all upload a photograph of how far you've managed to get by the end of each lesson and attach it to the Firefly task. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a title. And to do this, I'm going to get a ruler. I'm going to put my ruler at the top of the page. And I'm going to draw across the top. And I'm going to draw across the bottom. Okay, and this is where we're going to put the artist name. I'm going to use Kandinsky. I'm not going to put Wassily. The majority of artists are most known for their surnames. And Kandinsky is definitely one of those artists. And I need to try and incorporate Kandinsky's style in my lettering. So I'm going to start off by just very simply use a ruler. I want this title to be quite clean. Okay, Kandinsky uses a lot of lines in his work. So I'm going to try and copy that style. So I'm having some leading lines coming off. Think about his work as well. Could we include some other things which tell you a little bit about Kandinsky's style? So could we add in shapes? Could we add some shapes onto the letters? Could we turn some of the letters into shapes? And then so I'm pressing a little bit harder than I would if I wasn't recording. Make sure that you press light all the time. I'm only pressing slightly harder so you can see it on the video. Oh, sorry. So Kandinsky, I'm quite happy with that. Now let me think, can I add in shapes to the letters or should I add some shapes around the letters? I'm going to add some shapes around the letters. Look around your house. Can you find any objects? So I'm just going to use the bottom of this sharpener and draw around like so. And then I'm going to also, Kandinsky likes to overlap his shapes, I'm going to put a triangle there, and then all I have left to do is just rub out these guidelines and make it nice and neat. Now Kandinsky loves colour. He sees emotions as colours. Okay, so he sees using colour as a very expressive form. So make sure that you're including colour. You can use colour pencils. You can, for this lesson, use paints, pastels, whatever you wish. The only time I'm going to limit you as to what materials you can use for this poster is when we try and copy one of his pieces so that we all do it the same. If you want to have a go at painting, I'd be very impressed by that. Just think about the colours that you're using. Kandinsky does not really use certain colours. So if you're not sure on what colours he does use, have a little look on the internet. Okay, so I am happy with that. I might decide to add colour to those letters. I might decide to add some colour to the shapes here. I might decide that I want to make this title a little bit more interesting, and I might do something like this. So I'm going to just go carefully around the letters. If I was to do this technique, which I'm doing right now, I could actually leave the letters black, so I could use a pen or a black pencil to make them bold, and I could then add the colour inside this new kind of area / bubble which I've created around the lettering. So everyone's poster should be slightly different, okay? I want them to be as creative and imaginative as possible, but in the back of your mind, making sure that everything that you do goes back to Kandinsky. Okay, so enough on the title. Once you've got that done, you've got your colour done, ready to move on. Now, this is for your written research. Your written research can be handwritten, or it can be typed, printed out and stuck onto your poster. I don't mind. And we're going to do 2 paragraphs. So I'm going to handwrite mine, and I'm going to have my first paragraph this side. So I'm going to start off with a line, and then I'm going to measure, okay, ruler width between my lines to make sure that my poster looks nice and neat. Okay, that's enough lines. I'm just going to rub out the edges. Now this is your paragraph 1. Okay, now I'm gonna discuss what I want you to put in your paragraph 1, and I would like you to pause this video and then complete your research and then press play. So paragraph 1 is a key facts about Kandinsky. Okay, so you've got space there for 4 or 5 sentences, and I want you to use this time to independently research about Kandinsky. So you can use the internet. There is also a video attached to the resources page. So watch the video or go on Google and tell me some key facts about Kandinsky. Things such as his full name, when was he born, when did he die, What country is he from? What inspired his work? What did his work look like? And what was his favourite aspect about his work? So any of those questions or any other information which you find, which you might think could be really impressive. If you were going to look at a poster about Kandinsky, I want you to be using the facts that you would want to read. So future year 7s coming into my classroom, tell them what you think they need to know about Kandinsky. What are the most important key facts? Once you've completed that paragraph, you are then ready to move on to paragraph 2. I'm going to do my paragraph 2 down here. And you'll see why in a moment. 1. So again, we want about 4 or 5 lines. Okay, and this one is personal opinion. So in art, it's extremely important for you to express your views as one artist looking at another artist's work. So I want to know what you think about Kandinsky's work. So think about the following questions. What do you like about Kandinsky's work? What aspects do you find inspiring? Do you particularly like the uses of colour? Do you like the method in which he works? Have you got a particular piece that you are fond of? If so, write down the name of that piece. Okay, then we've got space here and here. So, I mean, you don't have to do this, but it's just so that you can see the layout. We've got space here and here for photos. So have a little look on the internet, print out 1 photo, 2 photos. If you haven't got access to a printer, boys, do not worry. I would like you to just list 2 and do boxes like I have. So photographs of Kandinsky's work. We want this poster to be really bright and eye-catching, so if you can, print them out in colour. If you get all of that finished for today, because that is the end of the task which I want you to do for today's lesson, then think, how else could you add some really Kandinsky inspired eye-catching features to this piece? So it could be something as simple as adding some shapes. It could be that you decide to apply colour into the boxes. So really make it unique, your own, and as visually eye-catching as possible. You'll notice that there is one side of the page left blank, and that is going to be what we're going to do next lesson. So don't forget to upload your work that you have managed to get done so far this lesson. Thank you very much, boys.